Hey everyone. So, I had a really interesting conversation today with someone at my job. Really nice woman, has two children, college educated, and it seems to be a conversation that I tend to have with other people. Now, I am a millennial child, I guess you can say, but I've always gotten my whole entire life, you don't act like a person of your age. And by that, I never really got it. Mainly because, like, for me, I've always been very goal oriented. I've always been very driven. I push myself to do things. I'll do internships. I network. I'm not afraid of taking risk and moving. All those great things. A lot of people said they've admired me for it, and I've never quite understood, for me, why people are afraid to step outside of their comfort zone. Why people are afraid to move to a city over, or go to a different state, or just kind of learn something new. To me, I feel like you're failing in life if you don't step outside of your comfort zone. But that's just me and my mantra. Now, fast forward, both of her children, college educated, have great degrees. I think their degrees were like engineering and mathematics. And she was saying that, they were having a hard time finding jobs. And I was like, okay, well, how about, there's lots of engineering, different mathematics jobs they could do in different cities and or states. And they were like, well, they don't want to move where we live, and they feel that the Lord will bring the job to them. In which I understand. Yes, you pray about it, things will come to pass. I am very into faith. I believe in God. God has taken me places, in good times and bad times. But for me, my thing still falls in, why is it that people in my age group, like I'm 29, and I've lived in probably a couple of different states. Not enough, you ask me. I've had line sisters who are traveling the world, just enjoying life. And I think if you don't have any children, you're not married, this is the prime time to save, a prime time to sell. I wouldn't even say sell. I mean, people are buying houses too, but this is the prime time to just live your life. You don't have any responsibility. So what is the fear that people in my age bracket are having with stepping outside of their comfort zone? I mean, I've had, females that were crying because they moved an hour away. And I'm like, it's an hour away. You can always come back and visit. It's not that serious. Your parents aren't going to die. Your family isn't going to die. And I understand people are very close-knit with their families, but I feel that there's so much more to life than just the confined walls that you grew up in. And, I just feel like by putting yourself in that box, you are, in my mind, really hindering yourself for the blessings the Lord has for you. So I don't know, but I just found that to be interesting. And then I also feel like nowadays a lot of parents, they've done so much for their kids as far as raising them to be, independent and things like that. I feel that we as, or parents, like, I don't have children, but I've just noticed that, parents specifically, they'll push their daughters to, excel and do well, but then in a sense they almost baby and pacify the sons. Not always the case, just some of the things that I've noticed. But I mean, like I said, I have seen females who were boohoo crying because they were moving, they had to get a job, in a different city, but or state. Matter of fact, it was city, because they didn't even go out the state. But I don't know, I just think it's really interesting. And I feel that sometimes as parents, you sometimes gotta let that umbilical cord go and cut it off. Stop pacifying them. Stop having them stay at the house when they're almost 30 years old. And I understand we live in a job market and day and age where it's hard for people to find jobs. But then I also put it back on me and the millennial generation, because while you were in school, you should have took the advantage of doing internships. Because the thing about this is that I'm always providing individuals with resources that I find, because I don't mind sharing them with people. But it's things that I'm like, okay, what were you doing while you were in school? Because don't get me wrong, I lived the best of both worlds, because I partied and I had a good time, but I was also about my business, and I graduated magna cum laude with both my undergraduate degrees and master's degrees, pledged a sorority, and all the other great things that come with being in college. So I didn't have any regrets, but I was definitely about my business, because I definitely knew that once I graduated, I needed to have a job. Now, it is going to come a time when, some individual may not be that fortunate to get a job. I get that. But for me to meet an individual who was in school for 4 years and they received a scholarship to go to school, so they don't have any loans, which is great, fantastic, but you take any opportunity to network, to join national organizations to help you find a job, do internships that's going to help you excel. You could have spent your summers in a different city or state, but you're so confined in just being in that box. I feel like, how can you truly excel? I don't know. But this was just kind of like my little blurbage that I was just kind of thinking. Am I the only one that thinks this way? Because, like I said, I know that I'm in the millennial. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not loyal to jobs. That's one thing about, I'm a true millennial to that extent. Like, I'm going to go somewhere what's going to pay me my worth and treat me like I'm somebody and something. Because jobs will treat you as if you're disposable. But I feel that because of the day and age that I grew up in, that's why I have a thirst for knowledge, a thirst for networking, because I feel that as I get older, my networking, my skills are only going to get better. So if I have them while I'm young, and I'm networking while I'm young, when I'm fresh out of college, it only gets better. And so, I pretty much built a nice rapport, a reputation about myself in the last 7 years of working in the field, I guess you could say. But that's neither here nor there. But basically, that was just my little thing on like millennials and like what's going on with these millennials who are not working. Or, I don't know, or just who aren't, not necessarily not working. What is going on with individuals in my generation who are afraid to step outside of the box, afraid to live on their own, still living at home with their parents, no ambition to actually work or strive to do anything? Because I'm like, I don't know. I just find it kind of interesting, to say the least. But anyway, I'm not judging, just wanted to probe this as a question to see if, also enlighten me. If you guys know, or if you are in that situation, enlighten me, because, I don't think I know everything, and I don't want you to think that I'm judging, although it probably does sound like I'm judging. I just want some, perspective, because people keep telling me that I'm a different breed when it comes to these millennials, because I'm, but I don't necessarily think I am a different breed. When I come to work, I do what I'm supposed to do. I crave knowledge. I crave to learn more. I don't want to just get a license. I want to earn my license. I want to know what I'm talking about. I'm going to question you as my supervisor, because I want you to challenge me, and I want to get the most out of my experience as an employee there, so that I can in turn provide you to, with the best service to not only my clients, but make you look good as my supervisor. But that's neither here nor there. But let me know what you think. Am I just blurbing for nothing? So, National Nikki DST signing out. Bye.